All right, YouTube, what I'm doing today is I'm going to hang these cabinets right here on this section of wall in my garage. So I've done a couple of things so far. What I've done is gone ahead and remove the doors and shelves and everything from inside the cabinets. That way they're easier to lift. I went ahead also and glued some 3/4 inch material to the back here because I didn't really like the way this was secured to the sides and the top of the cabinet, so I wanted it to have a little more reinforcement. I'm going to be loading these things up with some heavy stuff, and I do not want these things coming off the wall onto my truck. So I've reinforced that a little bit, and I'm getting ready to put these things on the wall. So I've done a little prep work also on the wall. What I've done here is I've located my studs, and then I've also put this strip down where I'm going to actually use that as like a ledge to set the cabinet on. I made sure this is level and everything. And so what I've done now is measured out where I need to put where my cabinet screws need to go to secure it to the wall. I measured that distance from this wall edge here to the stud. And then I went over here and transferred that measurement to the back. And what I'm going to do is run a screw through this way so it comes out the front, and then get it started coming back this way. That way I'm not trying to have it a measure for this thickness here. I know that may sound lazy or whatever, but that seems to me to be the easiest way to do it, is just mark it on the back, run the screw through, flip it around, and get it started back this way. That way when I put it on the wall, all I've got to do is zip that thing in there. What I'm using here is nothing fancy, just some 2.5 inch cabinet screws. Get some nice bite into the wall with that. You can see where the screws come through. I'm just going to go ahead and get my screws started by hand right there. Just run that through a little bit till I feel it coming out the back. And I'm going to do the same thing at each 3 of the points along the cabinet here. When I mentioned the 3 points a moment ago, I was referring to this strip, that strip, and the strip down there. I'm going to put 1 screw in each. So now you can see we've got all 3 of our screws in place and ready. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing on that ledge that I have on my wall. Now I see a little bit of a gap here on my wall. What I'm going to do is grab a level and stick it over on this side to make sure we've got everything level before zipping these screws in. So as you can see, what I've done here to free up my hands was just go ahead and grab a couple speed clamps and clamp the level to the cabinet. That way my hands are free to secure the cabinet to the wall. So let's try this again. So once you're certain everything's level and sitting on the ledge nice and flush, just the way you want it, I'm going to go ahead and run this center screw in first. So there we go. And you don't want these to be too tight because you don't want it to deform the wood. You just want it to be able to hold the cabinet in position, which it is. Maybe a little tighter than that. So there we go. We're nice and tight to the wall. We're nice and square, flush. Go ahead and remove my level. We're going to move to the next cabinet. So this cabinet is the same business. The only deal is you're not going to zip the screws all the way down because you want to make sure that you're adjusting the cabinets to be flush with one another. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. See what I mean right here? So I'm gonna run a couple of these screws just to kind of hold it in place, but not tighten them down all the way. And then I'm gonna flush this up here on the edge. So there we go. That's held in place. Now we want to adjust this like I was just talking about. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take our clamps once again. We're going to just kind of make sure that this is nice and flush. And it looks like that might be easier said than done. May have to loosen the screw back up because it seems to have tightened down. The way this is sitting, it's not really letting me move it around the way I need to. Yeah, because I needed to come up just a little bit there. That was not allowing that. So I've moved it up a little. Now I'm going to do a different screw because I don't want that one pulling it back down in the same position. And again, I'm just getting into the wall a little bit so that that doesn't fall while I'm trying to do this. I have to go just a little further with it. Okay, that pulled it up. Okay. Okay. So what you're going to do here is take your clamps, get everything flush with itself, and clamp it together, which it looks pretty good right there. Seems to be pulling a little more. I may use my screws to try to help pull that in. I may need to loosen these screws a little, just a hair as well, just to get a little more manipulation out of it. Because right now I'm not getting a nice flush lip here. I'm just going to back those out just a little. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to get a couple of screws and just attach these two together. We don't have any gaps along the bottom or anything, so that's good. So I'm gonna make sure I get something that's just a little bit shorter than here. I have to see what I've got laying around. But then other than that, it's just a matter of tightening your screws back up, putting your doors back on. Okay, so I found these screws that are a little bit shorter than the width of these two boards combined. I'm just gonna zip these screws through, one on the top, one on the bottom. That'll keep everything flush here. There's probably a specific type of screw you're supposed to use. I am not a cabinet maker. I'm not a professional carpenter or anything like that. I'm just hanging cabinets in my garage here. So this is gonna be sufficient as far as I'm concerned. If you wanna do it properly, maybe check Google out and see what the proper way is to do this. But this is gonna work for my garage, so I'm doing it. So that's one. I put another one in the top. Try not to fall off my ladder at the same time. So after a bit of adjustment, this is what you've got. Cabinets in your garage. Not looking bad, looking pretty good. Nice and flush on the wall. I'm gonna build a little shelf to go underneath here as well. Nice heavy duty shelf. But for now, this is what we've got. This is looking all right. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope this helps you out installing your cabinets on your wall. And make sure you check out the rest of my channel. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. And if you have any comments, feel free to drop them below as well. Thank you very much, guys.